everyone, and welcome to the After Church Tea Time. I'm here with Virginie, and we are discussing Heaven on Earth is a vibration, and are you aligned with it? This sermon that Madhu Mishra had shared. So great. Thank you so much for being here, Virginie. What do you have any thoughts you'd like to share?
Hello, Kelly. First of all, I really enjoyed Madhu's sermon, and I really enjoyed him sharing about his journey of spiritual awareness, about what he experienced as having material and external achievement and still feeling empty. I think it's understanding what a vibration is. It's in itself a journey. It's a process, and I think he described it very well, saying that you can achieve many things that society teaches you to achieve, and still feeling very empty. And he pointed out the start from of his spiritual journey at this point where he felt that he needed something else to be really fulfilled on the inside. And it's when he realized that uh, the journey of life, it's at the end a spiritual journey and an inner journey, that you have to work from within, and to be fulfilled from within, and then you can enjoy life and what is heaven on earth is. So I really liked him sharing that, and I feel really that I resonate with him, because when he was speaking, I was also thinking about my own experience of spiritual awakening, and it was well before the twin flame journey in itself. It was a time when I was in a place where I realized some dreams I had, but I still feel something was off and empty. And I started to work on myself, to work deeper, to be really happy and fulfilled. So I really resonate with that specific part of his sermon.
I resonate as well. Yeah, I feel like this isn't necessarily modeled for us very well in the world,
Mm,
because it's like I think everybody realizes that like happiness is a consciousness and that love is a consciousness, but also like right, it's hard to be happy if you don't have a home, or it's hard to be happy if you don't have certain things in place to feel safe, right? But I
mm,
think I think learning to create that safety within you
mm,
is something that was very new for me. I felt like, okay, if I have the great job, if I have a career I love, like if I have a family that feels great, like that's going to be happiness for me, as
mhm,
opposed to realizing that, okay, love is within me and that I can create that love within. And from there, and for me, that looked like slowing way down. Like
mm,
I still experience anxiety around being late, feeling like I'm behind. But mostly it's this feeling like the anxiety I notice is really more just me like kind of being torn between two worlds. And the more that I actually like slow down, I'm actually more present. I get more accomplished. But I still battle with this like inner dialogue that I have to go fast. I have to be more productive. And I loved what Madhu shared about, working through autism and having to create more structure and create more balance within in order to like ground that in the external. And I,
mhm.
Yeah, I absolutely resonate with that. Yeah.
Yeah, and there's also something related to that that was really resonating with me as well is about um, the vibration is not some only something you achieved, but once you achieved a certain vibration, your duty is to set boundaries and to honor that vibration, and that's something also related. Yes, to do the autistic experience, but in general, in my experience, boundary is something I'm working a lot on in terms of relationship, but also energy, because I give a lot of my own energy, and I tend to empty my cup instead of fulfilling it, and just honoring my own energy. So yes, it's really something it's totally new. He talks about him being in finding the teachings of union, and I think it's really revolutionary because it's very different from what we learned. So we talked about external achievement, doing things on the external, being on time, comparing to everybody else, and I feel that too, that I was late comparing to the others. I wasn't achieving the same thing as they did. So, what's my place in life? What's my role? What's my value in life if I don't have that, do that as the other? And so, he talked also at the end of his sermon about the community and having a community that vibrates at the same level and that's honoring the vibration of love. And I feel really touched by this part because it's something also really relevant for me. And lately, I've been working on that because, for example, I work in a place where there's a lot of people, uh, hundreds, thousands of people all day, and they don't do the same spiritual work as I do. So it's very difficult to set, keep, honor boundaries and my energy, but it's also really a challenge to be working in a workplace where people don't go within when there's a problem or an upset. They just try to control the usually the external reality. So it's really relieving once you go back here in the community through this discussion, through volunteer work, or even through the Facebook groups. It's really nice to be part of the community who's doing the same work, who has the same tool, and who learned how to resolve upsets and to create a better reality. That's my definition of heaven on earth. It's not just only experiencing love on your own, but it's also having this community and relationships where everybody tries to do their best to honor that vibration and that God's part within us. Mm.
No, I love that. Yeah, I feel like it does get challenging to have relationships because like here we try to just really honor like radical self like responsibility for what we're creating in our lives.
Mm.
And even if that looks like, wow, I'm feeling powerless now, like, okay, well, why am I feeling powerless? Where did this come from? How can I take responsibility for this place that this particular block feels like it's never going to change? Like just feel like feeling like that truth and then being able to unpack it, like having the tools to unpack that powerlessness because I feel like that's like a very human it's like very human to feel like you can't change your external reality. Um, but really it changes as you change your heart, as you open up to the love within. And and really for me it's like grounding more and more into deeper peace and deeper love. And I don't know, it's like a deeper honoring. And I think what was coming to me as Madhu was speaking was I grew up in Georgia where there were like a lot of pine trees. And so when there was like a storm, and they're like, I don't know if you've ever seen pine trees, but they're really skinny and they're
Mm,
really tall. And so when the wind, we had rains, like I always was afraid that a pine tree would fall on our house because it was just like because they would just they were so flexible. And so it's actually pretty rare because they're so flexible. It's pretty rare for them to like snap and fall. But I think of it more as like having the teachings of union is like having this like grounded tree that like no matter what, like maybe the leaves would blow in a in a storm, um but it's like no matter what shows up at your tree, right, that you're going to stand firm and solid like an oak or like a like a redwood that would just is like not movable. And I think
mm,
I'm definitely still working on grounding that, because I think we attract a lot in our lives that reflect what our own inner consciousness. And sometimes it's really hard to take responsibility. Like, oh gosh, I don't want to feel that that's how I'm treating myself, or that's how I'm being in the world. And so it for me, it's been hard to be honest with myself, but I do know that like as I'm honest, then I can start to unpack and unravel. Like I think I don't know, I've had a lot of like emotional abuse in my life, and so I feel like I've had to set boundaries with people in my life who were not loving and who are continually trying to take from me emotionally, which has been hard on its own. But then being able to go, deeper in and like really taking responsibility for where I'm taking from myself emotionally and allowing others to shake my tree, and like learning to release and validation and really stepping into valuing and honoring myself. But I think it takes space to do that. It takes, at least for me, I've had to like remove myself from relationships that would continually invalidate me
mm,
so that I could feel where I'm doing that to myself and take that responsibility and heal that within. I'm kind of grounding that like now. But I
mm,
think so I look forward to having the groundedness that Madhu has and being able to just have that full acceptance of myself and to heal. And I think that's what it's about. It's just like, we're doing our best, but there's still work to do. So,
mm.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah, you're right. And it can be this realization that there's still work to do, can be, um, I don't know, discouraging, but yeah, it's the ascension path, and it's also very enthusiastic that there's always something to learn and to do better and be better. But yes, sometimes we can see it in a positive way and sometimes in a negative way. But I really agree with what you said, and it's also what I'm experiencing these weeks about being honest with yourself. In It's also a process, and I think we go deeper and deeper in the understanding of how our reality is reflecting our inner world and consciousness. Because for me, at the beginning, it has a meaning, and now I feel that I'm going deeper on understanding the how it works, that your outside world and your reality is reflecting, because sometimes I'm just thinking a lot about a situation, and I recently realized that when I'm thinking a lot about a situation, is just that situation is reflecting something to me, and usually it might be an upset, but it's just okay what this situation is telling me, and how I can see myself in this situation where I don't seem to be involved, but that touches me though. So yeah, it's a process of learning how to love ourselves. That's also one of Madhu's message, how we can use or see our external reality uh, as a way to love ourselves, to see the challenges, the upsets, to in the end feeling better inside. But you're right, some usually we have also to be honest about feeling bad sometimes, because sometimes I encounter myself lately like postponing bad feelings because I didn't want to feel that feeling. And as we said before, I wanted to go with my day and doing all the things I had to do and achieve all the external and material thing I had on my list. And I had a feeling that there was no place for my emotions and feelings. So I also really like this, when Madhu says at the beginning that the vibration is the emotion and the feeling that we create inside. So yes, it's a whole journey of practicing inner consciousness, how we feel all the time, and we are really easily distracted from ourselves. So it's really a really nice way to go in life, to feel this way, to think this way. Uh, but again, it's not what we have been taught to be, and that's how the teachings of union help us to reprogramming ourselves, but for the better, I think.
Yeah, it's definitely like a reprogramming. And that's why I have a hard time like watching movies that have a lot of violence or a lot
Mhm.
of chaos and things. And so it's really about like, I don't know, I have this I think so much well, what I was gonna say too is like because Madhu was talking about like aligning to that love within and like letting that joy, choosing happiness, because it's like when somebody tries to shake your tree, it's like you can give the power to the outside, or you can go within and be like, okay, no, my strength is in my peace, my power is in my peace. And I think sometimes there can be, I don't know, I'm definitely feeling into this place where like uh I don't know, like it's almost like when you remove yourself from the chaos, there becomes a little bit of like emptiness. But that emptiness is really meant to be filled by love and peace and joy. But sometimes that chaos or like um or disempowerment or whatever you're trying to like let go of and release is like it's about just really coming back to that center and remembering, oh no, I'm not lonely. I just didn't feel whole in this place. I didn't feel like I could express this emotion. I didn't feel safe to actually be my true authentic self. And I think ultimately that's what's so important, to get to this place where you can just really respect and appreciate like how you're feeling. And as you do that, like that's the self-love, just you naturally align to it because you're giving yourself like permission to like feel and to be and to express. And then it doesn't necessarily matter what other people think or feel. Um, and I know it is, at least for me, I experience where I'm afraid to be myself. Like I'm afraid people will try to, I don't know, hurt me in some way. So, but I'm really working on trying to ground that where like it doesn't really matter what other people say or do or feel about my life choices. And I just need to feel really good about them. Like, I just really need to tune in and make sure that I'm loving the life that I'm creating, that it feels integral to me. And like, that's what matters, right? Because you know your integrity by like how you feel. But if you don't know how you feel, everyone else will tell you how to feel, you
Hmm.
know? So
Yeah.
it's like grounding that inner wisdom
Hmm.
that we all have, right? It's
Hmm.
like I think that's our inherent design is like knowing what we feel, you know. Yeah, just being able to create a space to express that true
Hmm.
self, you know. So,
Yeah. Yeah. It it talks. I don't know if the expression is right in English, but it talks a lot to me what you said about, yes. So it really resonates with me, this about chaos, and then when you remove yourself from the chaos you feel empty, and also about allowing yourself to be yourself, because yeah, I have a work place that it's really chaotic in general. So I know a lot about trying to find peace, being in the chaos, and also to, yes, what you said about feeling your feelings, and searching inside for this peace and this sense of integrity, so that you don't let the others telling who you are, or what you should do. Yeah, I recently experienced a lot of example. I talk a lot about that because it's really resonate, but I'm a school teacher, and we used to hear discourse like this. Oh, in my class I do like that, and if it's the truth. So if you compare yourself to others, to what they do, how they teach, how they lead their class, you always feel bad. So I learned how that I had to cultivate that sense of my own worth, my own guidance, my own integrity, as you said. So now I am able to not feeling that touched or overwhelmed by this discourse of people trying to promote their way of being a teacher. And I just try to go inside and to feel what's right for me, and to call God and God's guidance there. And it's really important, and it's something that I learned a lot, how to invite God, even in this chaotic workplace that might be a school. So yeah, I really resonate with what you say. And it's this, heaven on earth is, it's in the teachings of union, when we what we learn to be is not something you achieved after your death, or it's not a place you have to go, because it's also something I used to think that, okay, if I go to this place, because I travel a lot, I thought that, and it's from my childhood. I wanted so much to 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 not be in my home as a child, that I started to want to travel, and it was my thing in my teenage years and young adult years. It's okay, if I find this place, it will be my heaven on earth, and I will be happy if I'm living there.
mm,
And it's something really I pursued a lot, until I realized it wasn't about the place, and it was part of my spiritual journey. So yes, with the teachings of union, and that's what Madhu reminds us in his sermon. It's really about an inner state and inner feeling. It's not something we found we find in on the outside. It's something we find in the inside, and then it's manifested. It can be manifested on the outside. So yes, this practice of always going inside and cultivating this peace, this love, this all good feelings we can feel in our lives. It's really key. On the Ascension, it's all about that, in my understanding, at least in experience. Mm.
Yeah, I love what you shared there. I resonate so much of what you shared too as a teacher. Because I think ultimately, like as a teacher, you're always trying to get like the common goal is to like help your students to really learn and to love. But what I found like to be really helpful is like I remember I opened my school out of kind of out of an upset, right? But then I didn't realize that the energy and vibration of what was experiencing was also off. And so when I opened my school, I was like, oh, okay, this is why I needed to open this. This is why I had that contrast. So I could really recreate something. I'm in the ballet world, so I really needed something that was just more loving and more kind and more accepting and more, um, I don't know, more joyful.
Hmm.
And so it's been really interesting. Um, like learning through this experience of having a dance school and having like, okay, well, this is traditional, this is more like recreational, but like, how can I find this happy balance between like professionalism and also like kindness and love and appreciating kids for what they naturally bring. And then like, but it takes a lot of trust. At least what I've discovered is it takes a lot of trust because ultimately I feel like everybody wants to align to love. Everybody wants to align and learn. And I feel like if you don't want to learn, there's like a block to learning, not that, like you're lazy or like maybe you learn in a different way. Like, you know, and so it's just fascinating to me that, so I don't know, maybe there's still like some healing in the school systems in general, because I think ultimately we really just want people to, and I think of kids as people, right? It's like, how can we help them align to like their best learning self? And I think oftentimes they probably just don't have the tools or they might learn in a different way. And so, but it's not always so clear, right? Like I remember teaching a group of kids and like 20 of them, I was probably 20 kids, this at somebody else's school, but like 19 of them got what I was sharing and they totally got it. But I had one student that just was lost. And the mom came up to me after. She's like, I don't think you're her teacher because she's just not understanding. And I didn't notice the one student that didn't understand. And I watched the next class and I'm like, oh gosh, mom's right. Her daughter is lost. And so even though the whole rest of the class understood what I was doing, they knew it. I taught it. They hadn't grounded it and integrated, but they knew it. I showed it in a different way, lost the whole rest of the class, gone. And so I think sometimes we don't understand that, like, we really do all learn in a different way. And so I think the chaos sometimes can be like just just because we all learn in different ways. And it takes a lot of compassion to be a teacher and a lot of, yeah. So, but yeah, I don't know. How do we, yeah, I think it's just about aligning to that love within us. And then hopefully the world will will do the same. I don't know.
Mm.
I guess it's a process. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, I'm hopeful about that because it's something that I work a lot with my coaches is about um, your choices, what you can do, and others' choices, and you don't have power over other choices. And maybe you have one student in your class, he or she, they don't want to learn, or yes, they can learn a different way, and we can adapt. And but it's yeah, it's also always difficult depending the conditions of teachings. But
Of
uh,
course.
yeah, what I learned in the end, it's um, about you can do your own. inner work and embody your values. And if it's inclusivity, it's being inclusive and being the teacher for every one of your students. It's something, again, to cultivate within and to spread as a role model. That's why I try to do in my school, because there's so much thing I can control, and I'm working in the, yes, the school, the educational system in every country is really, there's a lot to do. And at the
Yeah, I bet.
beginning, at a moment of my career, I was really fighting, as you said, when you said that you opened your school based on an upset. I totally understand. And at one point in my career, before, just before meeting the teachings of union, I was in that place, and the teachings, they helped me a lot to understand what I can work on. And it's also about what you said before about the power we have over our life and our reality and our inner feeling. And I really think, because I experienced it, my work, it's been almost 4 years now that I'm following the teachings, and it's 4 years that I'm in that school where I'm today. And I really see, but before I was teaching for many years, but I really saw my way of teaching is really evolving a lot, and working more on myself, and just embodying my values, and just spreading through my actions, through my way of being. And for example, I received new comments. I feel I always received comment of my with from my students that they feel good in my class, that they learn by um, through having fun, and so really good comments like that. But this year there's new comments coming, that they feel calm and at peace in my class. So I was like,
Wow.
wow. So if it's this chaotic environment they are in, because it's a really, really big school, my class is a place where they feel at peace and calm, and they really enjoyed being there. I think I feel really good, and I feel really the purpose of being a teacher in that school. And I feel that I achieved the goal if they can feel the peace. So it's also the sign that I really achieved a certain vibration of peace myself, because if they feel at peace, it's because I uh, I don't know how to say that, but I spread peace
Yeah.
from within. Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah.
No, that is so powerful. I love
Yeah.
that. Yeah,
Mhm.
congratulations. That's a
Thank
huge
you.
win.
Thank you.
Yeah. Yeah, and that I think that's what we're doing is we're with the teachings of union is we're taking this external idea of peace and success and power, and we're bringing it all back internal, creating it from this grounded, loving place within. And then it is like you shared so beautifully, you have more peace in
Mhm.
your external reality, you have more peaceful children. And I'm experiencing that as well. Like it's really incredible. Um, and I feel like it's sometimes it can be just a subtle shift. And then
Mhm.
sometimes we have bigger breakthroughs, but just like aligning to that peace and to that loving vibration, it's just these ever so subtle shifts. And then it's you almost don't even notice them. And then you look back at your life like where you were, like, I don't know, 4 years ago,
Yeah.
5 years ago, and you're like, wow, I've really come a long way. And being able
Mhm.
to, like, I don't know, like learn to get back to that state of peace faster.
Mhm.
And because the upsets will come, but like being able to go back into that peace, like time and time again, you start to build this self-trust. It's just like working out, but it's like an emotional muscle. And
Yeah.
learning to come back to that peace. So, yeah, it's been
Mm.
beautiful learning from the Church of Union and from Jeff and Shaleia, and
Mhm.
just the community is incredible. It's been wonderful.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you have anything else to share? Does that feel
No, this it feels complete. Yeah, I'm really
okay?
content about
Yeah,
our
great.
conversation. Yeah.
Okay, great. Well, thank you everyone for watching, and we hope you have a wonderful week. Feel free to head over to churchofunion.org and share a tithing so we can continue to spread this message of love and peace and harmony throughout the world. That'd be so great. You can also like and subscribe on YouTube or here at the Unionism Spiritual Discussion Group. Thank you so much, everyone, and we'll see you next time.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you. Bye bye.